So, Josh, thank you so much for being here.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I know we've been friends for a very long time, but I also know that you have quite a few paranormal stories from life living on the road, because you were a truck driver, which we all know can be absolutely crazy. And
it was.
Yeah. So I want you to talk a little bit about that. Maybe we could start with your UFO sighting.
I was upstate New York, right outside Syracuse, and it's just, it was winter. There's just rocks and snow, whole lot of fog.
It's always like a good thing to have in a story, you know?
Yeah,
That's
but no,
like,
it was,
this is going to go really well.
Yeah, the fog was really strange. Different style of fog, and as I kept driving, all of a sudden the fog kind of changed on me. All of a sudden, it wasn't just these big white clouds. All of a sudden, I was like, okay, I'm the only light on the road. Why is the fog all of a sudden pink? And I was like, this is weird. And then my dog's kind of getting restless. And
would your dog be with you on every trip that you took?
Yeah, Gargamel went with me everywhere. When I was solo driving, it was me and Gargamel route.
I also want to throw a photo up of Gargamel really quick.
Gargamel's the best dog that ever was.
To show everybody how cute and wonderful this dog was.
And so we're driving. He's all like kind of getting up and like, which he didn't really do, just be like, and I was like, yeah, something's real weird. And then all of a sudden, the fog starts turning green, and then it turns pink again.
Yeah. What was the first thing that went through your mind when you started seeing like this pink fog surrounding the truck, and like, you know something's
I knew something was weird.
Yeah, like especially when your dog is just like going crazy and like.
And it was. I wasn't too worried. So the first thing I did was, when I finally realized something weird was going on, I rolled my driver's side window down and kind of stuck my head up, and I could see all these weird lights. They were just like hovering above us.
Yeah. How far up do you think the lights were?
I mean, they were probably a good 100 feet.
Yeah. Which is
But
very,
you could
very
see, and
low.
it was huge. It was huge. It was as far as I could see. It was gigantic. And
so were you parked at the time, or were
no,
you
I was
driving?
I was driving.
See, that's what's crazy about this story. It's like following you the whole time.
I was the only light on the road. A lot of people don't understand that concept too, of where you're the only person where you are. Like parts of Maine, parts of Wyoming, throughout parts of the desert, you're the only person you see for like 6-7 hours.
It's gonna mess with you too, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't do it no more. But yeah. So he starts sending me stuff, and he's like, "Oh, it's no big deal, Josh. You're just the 110th person to see this." And he starts sending me all this stuff, showing me where I'm at, and it's not places that I'm passing, but like in the vicinity of where I was. And this was upstate New York, around Syracuse, he was showing where apparently there's portals.
Interesting.
And apparently a lot of UFOs transfer through portals, extra dimensions, going through cold water areas. He was showing me that, and he was showing me all kinds of weird stuff.
It's kind of like,
I wish I had it on my phone now. I mean,
right.
This was on Messenger, and I'm not even on Facebook anymore, and I even hit him up trying to find stuff. But
well, it's like, where would be a great place for an unidentified flying object to hide?
there's nothing out there.
It's
There's
like,
nothing.
great. Somewhere where, the population is maybe 100 people. There's a lot of lakes,
And
water.
it's cold.
Absolutely. It's cold. UFOs can hide underwater, and there's a lot of, stories about that.
But that's practically the closest I've been in an extraterrestrial situation there, because it was there. I mean, there was no way that wasn't like some weird government. That wasn't a weird government ship or something. That was something strange. And the way it hovered, and it was just above me, and just how the lights were, and then how they changed in the fog.
Awesome. Well, that is very interesting. I love it. And I think you have a couple other stories from your truck driving experience.
Yeah, there's a few.
Something to do with maybe the Hills Have Eyes people?
Yes. That was, I had to piss really bad.
Great.
And
as one does.
you can pull off on the side of the road. It's great. A lot of times you get caught real quick. Depends on what company you're working for. I don't work for any company now, so I can say whatever, and it doesn't matter. I saw a sign, and I seriously thought this was the exit. I believe it was a trap, in hindsight, because I pulled off, and it's just a big turnaround. I was like, okay. I had to piss so bad. Jumped out of my car, pissed on my tires, had my dog there. There was a whole bunch of signs just saying no trucks. All these roads surrounding it. I was like, okay, I was going to get the hell out of there. And so, like I said, a big flat top. Here's the front of my, imagine my arm is my 18-wheeler. Here's the cab. This would be the trailer. This woman comes out of nowhere in this truck. The scariest woman I've ever seen in my life. I always say that...
What did she look like?
I always say that if you've ever seen Clash of the Titans and the three witches share that one eyeball, well, she looks like she had two of those eyeballs stuck in her head. She looked awful. She looked like she'd been on meth for 40 years. And she just, she comes in and parks right here. Now, if you know anything about truck driving, if you hit another vehicle, it's always your fault. You're more than likely going to go to prison for it. You have a commercial driver's license, completely different. And she's there, and she just starts beating a pistol against the side of my door, and I'm like, what the hell? And she's like, who are you? Who do you work for? I'm calling the police. You see these signs, no trucks. And I'm like, look, lady, this is directly off the interstate. And this is a blacktop, obviously big enough for 18-wheelers to turn around. And all these roads say no trucks. I'm not going up those streets or roads or trails or whatever the fuck they were or whatever they were. But beep. But yeah. And she's like, how dare you? How dare you? And she's just beating on the side of my door, and like Gargamel's like, and she's got this Rottweiler with her that's a beautiful Rottweiler, but she's like, it's like, and like Gargamel's in the door like, just going on, and I'm like, this is nuts, this is crazy.
This is probably a bad situation.
Well, I've talked to other truck drivers, and they've been like, dial 911, but they don't know how much I hate the police. So I'm not going to just dial 911. And so I'm just sitting there, and, you know, here's the front of my cab. You got your two seats, and then right behind it, your bed, usually a bunk. Everything I had was just pretty much
horror films and booze
and
no, I had piss or something.
I had gallons of piss and horror films, but there was no booze in those trucks. But I quit drinking for a long time while I was truck driving. But I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, oh shit. And it was against company policy to carry a firearm, but everyone knows that you gotta keep a firearm.
When you come in close contact with, I don't know, UFOs or people with crazy eyes that might be cannibals, you know, maybe it's not such a
we hadn't even
idea.
got the cannibal part yet, because I'm pretty sure. But so I was sitting there in the back, and I had a 22, and I was like, well, this woman's waving a pistol, dogs are barking, this is all madness. And I was able to see my passenger side rear view mirror. I realized someone's siphoning my diesel. What? She's doing this on this side, but this guy's stealing my diesel.
So the whole thing was a plan.
It was a plan, and I was like, oh hell no! I'm calling the police, and she just starts screaming. The Rottweiler jumps in the Jeep. She does it, and it's just like watching it in reverse, like an old 20s film, just backwards, like. She goes up the hill, and I pull forward, and I see this guy in overalls just walking with like 2 pickle barrels, you know, of diesel, and I'm like, I was driving, I was like, that was straight up highway robbery, but that was not, and I'm like, what's going on back there? I mean, it was some pretty,
What do you think was going on in the woods?
I think it was probably some Texas Chainsaw Massacre type shit, and I feel like maybe if I wasn't able to I'm sure most people would have been intimidated into submission. Mm-hmm. of people like that.
Yeah. I mean, what if it was someone that was traveling on vacation or on, you know, like a business trip by themselves? Not
they'd be like a ham sandwich or something.
Yeah. It's like how many people has this happened to before?
Because what did they need the diesel for? To run their compound?
Interesting. So you think that maybe they were using this diesel to run generators for their little town? Maybe they were cannibals or something?
I'm pretty sure they were cannibals.
Something's going on. Either that or like,
by the way,
maybe they're cooking meth and it's like a Breaking Bad situation. I'm not really sure. Well, on that note, I think you have one last thing to show us, a little show and tell.
Oh, I did bring a show and tell. I have it's an original 8mm of Ed Wood's Glen or Glinda.
You probably show it to this. What is it?
It's an original 8mm of Glen or Glinda, which is Ed Wood's film about wearing his wife's underwear and how it's okay. But the thing about this film that's specifically strange and sort of exploitation, you know, you hear about blaxploitation, sexploitation, whatever. You don't really talk about junkiesploitation. Ed Wood just bought Bela Lugosi heroin to come in and film scenes and had this thing's like, just come in there and bought him a bunch of dope. But there's
and for those of you who don't know, like Bela Lugosi
is Dracula,
exactly,
the original Dracula.
The original Dracula, who has a story of his own.
Which it's got outtakes with Bela Lugosi here. But I've been unable to watch this because I don't have an 8mm film. But Ed Wood created everything himself. So I'm sure this is his handwriting. I'm sure that's his sticker. Mm-hmm. But I could be wrong. Like some expert's going to watch this and go, fuck him, he don't know shit. But there you go.
So maybe the next time you come on the show, we'll have an 8mm projector and we can actually watch a little bit of it. And
I'd love it because I'm sure it's not copyrighted. None of it. I'm sure there's no copyright on that at all.
None at all. Well, great. This has been so wonderful. Thank you so much, Josh.
I had a blast.
And if you stick around for later on, we'll get to see Joshua Claude Mayfield and the Horse Thieves perform their song Tombstones.
Oh,
Awesome. Thank you, Josh.
hell yeah. Good to be here.
Join me next time on The Witching Hour.